Welcome to Behind the Barcode, the podcast that goes beyond the label to uncover the stories of the faces behind your favorite products. We're your hosts, Anna and Sydney.
In this podcast, we dive into the dynamic world of consumer packaged goods with a focus on better-for-you products. As entrepreneurs ourselves, we know firsthand the challenges and triumphs of bringing a product to market. That's why we're here to share the journeys of fellow innovators, industry experts, and entrepreneurs who are making waves in the CPG space.
Join us as we sit down with inspiring guests to explore the stories behind the UPC codes, uncovering the passion, perseverance, and purpose driving their businesses forward. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, a budding startup, or simply curious about the stories behind the products you love, this podcast is for you.
So grab your favorite snack and get ready to go behind the barcode.
Hello,
Hi.
Mario.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
We're so happy to have you on the podcast.
I'm happy to be here.
Mario
I'm honored.
is a dear friend of ours and the founder of Stellace, like I just said. So Mario, we'll just dive right in. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into what you're doing now?
Okay, well, I'm Mario, and right now I'm the founder of Stellace. It's a sleep supplement, but it's not really a sleep supplement like you've ever tried. It's kind of like its own little thing. I don't really know how to put it or explain it. But yeah, I also happen to go to USC. I'm 21 years old. So I guess I'm like a student founder. I met Anna at this like tech week event, and then through Anna met Sydney. But so yeah, it's just really fun, like LA founders community.
Can I just say, I love how you said right now, I'm the founder of Stellace.
Yeah.
That was beautiful because I realized that, and I just made a video on this, like I am more than the founder of French Squirrel, and I also could potentially be founder of other businesses in the future. I love how you just said right now, because we're not solely attached to our business identity.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that when you said that.
Yeah,
that was powerful.
It was very powerful, and I feel like even when I asked you the question, I thought to myself, wait, but he's so much more than that. So.
Yes.
And like my vision is very, very extensive. Like, and not that I plan so hard into the future, but just I know that there is no limit to what I want to do. And like my vision, I've really like honed in on specifically what it is in the sense it's just like I want to heal the world. And so I'm not going to limit myself to healing the world through like right now my product, they're like sleeping capsules.
That's one modality.
That is my way in. And I knew that when I was creating the company, that would be my way in. I'm like, this is the most efficient, easiest way to get my foot in the door, easiest way for me to help people right now, given the resources I have, given the experience I have. This is the easiest way for me to be able to heal people and like get started. So that's what I've been doing, and I love it, and I'm very passionate about it. But as I grow, I want to go way beyond even just like CPG. We'll see where it takes.
It's also your energy, your light, the light that you like bring into every single room too.
Thank you.
Even having conversations, posting your videos on TikTok, like you truly change people's lives without even knowing recognizing it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Entertainment is a way to like transform people.
Right.
It's true. Okay, so what does Stellace mean, and have you always had a passion for sleep?
Okay. Well, Stellace, so originally the name was Solstice.
Okay.
Because the idea was that I was going to make a product for the nighttime and for the daytime.
Okay.
And like solstice is, either whatever, like more day, more night. So I was like, oh, amazing. And then I actually went into production with the night formula under Solstice. And then I remember what I would do is I would go to, before I had my brand or anything, I was just like in production. And I would go to Erewhon like every single day, sometimes not even to buy stuff, but I would just go for the samples because I wanted to like see what was going on. And I'm just really into like knowing the latest type of thing in like CPG. So I would go and I would always hope that I would be talking to someone who works for the company that they're sampling, like not just a random sampler. And I would talk to them, and I would want to like learn about the company and whatnot. And so one day I went up to this guy. It's actually, the company's called Hubble. Like, do you guys know the Hubble drink?
The drink.
Sparkling juices.
Yeah. It's like,
I met him too.
That's funny. Well, yeah, he was a nice guy.
Great guy.
Yeah, and I mean, the juice was great. Like, I was just talking to him, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working on this thing called Solstice. Let me show you my label. And he looks at it, and he's like, that's an amazing name. He's like, how did you get that trademarked? And I think I was 19 at the time, by the way.
Yes. Can I just say, sorry that I didn't acknowledge this, but in the beginning, and we have obviously off the podcast, but it is amazing that you are a student founder, that you are in school and doing this at the same time. Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable.
And it's possible. Like, if anyone is my age listening, like, dude, you can be younger than me and doing this, to be honest.
Yes.
Like,
wow.
Yeah.
I don't
consider myself an exception by any means.
I know, but you are, though, and you need to, and like,
I'll take it.
Take the compliment. It is absolutely incredible, and you have a mind like way beyond your years.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
Mr. Hubble. Yeah.
Back to Hubble.
I was like, because he asked me how I got it, if it was trademarked, like how I got it. And in my head, I was like, what is a trademark? But I was like, it's in process. And so then I went to sleep that night. And I don't know why, but I woke up at like 4 a.m. and I was like, trademark. And so then, like, I like go onto the USPTO, like I go to the registry and I start like searching for Solstice, and I'm like, oh my God, please tell me that like Solstice is not taken.
Yeah.
And it's taken. There's like Solstice Medicine Company. And I was like, okay. I'm like, cool. So I had this like 2-day freak out where I was just like on the floor, like trying to figure out like, what is the name going to be? Like, it's in production and like I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, phonetically, I love solstice because solstice is inherently relaxing.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, so I like that. And my mom was just like, what about like Stellace? And so I wrote that down and I was like, oh, I literally was going to do like, I mean, I'm just dropping names, but like I was going to do Lunaris. Like it was going to be called Lunaris, which I don't know. I feel like I don't identify with
Sounds like a pharmaceutical.
Right? It sounds like a pharmaceutical, right? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so we went with Stellace. And Stellace actually, because stellar is relating to the stars and like constellations. So I like that. I like the extraterrestrial.
Did the label, your current label, change a lot? Because it does remind me of like space.
Yeah, well, that was actually, so it's kind of coincidental that ended up being Stellace, but the idea that I had when I was doing the design and like the entire just concept of the brand, and this is even like, because I've had some stuff before and I just like, what I stick to creatively has always been, and I always tell my artists, I'm like, create something that looks really familiar, but at the same time does not look like planet Earth at all. Mm-hmm. Like I love that feeling as well, as it's like, I've seen this before, but I haven't but yet it's so far away, but yet it's so close, and like kind of this like, I don't know, push and pull. I'm really into like the push and pull generally in life. I just like, I like, and that's how I work as well. Is like I go into like intense work and then like I leave and I'll go on a break for like 4 months and like I'll go back in and then I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, even we were just talking about packaging and how important packaging design is too. And I see what you're saying. It's like, getting the consumer to sort of know what you're trying to evoke, but then also the element of discovery and curiosity. But like, what is this? What does this mean? But the name Stellace and your packaging design, which everyone will attach Mario's everything to the show notes, so you can see the packaging design with like the blues and the whites and the deeper blues. It actually coincides very beautifully together. Like when I think of Stellace, the packaging design goes. It's part of it.
It's part of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it looks like it's entirely like its own thing.
It is its own feeling, and that's a really big thing for me when I create. Is I focus on the feeling. Like over anything, I just care about how does this make people feel. Wow. And so that is like my mission as a creator, is how can I create things to and like to almost like standardize this feeling so that everyone who perceives or like, you know, comes across this creation can feel what I feel.
Wow.
You know, to translate that over to the other person. That's how you touch
people. This is the median by which you touch
because like
people.
I feel all these feelings and like they help me so much. I don't know, like I live life by my feeling. That's how I create. That's how like I manifest in life.
That's why you also go to certain places, that you frequent certain places often. Like you go to Erewhon often because of the vibe.
The vibe that gives you.
Because of the way it makes you
exactly.
feel. You go to Equinox because of the way it makes you feel.
Exactly.
The feeling that these businesses are creating.
That is literally why people buy.
It's so powerful.
Yes. Very well said.
Absolutely.
That's true.
So have you always had a passion for sleep? I know you've been to the Amazon so many times, Peru. And
Well,
What?
yeah, I mean, my mom is from Peru. My mom was actually born in the Amazon, funny enough. Because if you met my mom, like, you're like, what? Like, how? Like, what?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so half of my family lives in the Amazon. And that's just, like, growing up, I would always go every year. And I mean, still, like, the last 2 Christmases, we've gone and just been with family. But I didn't really have any type of feeling about sleep. Like, I didn't think about sleep. I never had sleep issues in the first place. Okay. It was truly, and I say coincidental, but like no coincidences, but it just happened. It's like, I drafted out a night formula. I drafted out a daytime formula. I only had enough money in my bank account to do 1 product SKU. So I just went with sleep. Intuitively. And then I, like, through what I created, it was like I made something that I didn't even understand how powerful it was at the time. I just innocently, like, kind of with my eyes closed, just like, I just like knitted this like sweater and then like threw it out in the air. Wow. And then everyone was like, and then, and then I realized.
So you just thought, I want to make a daytime formula and a nighttime formula? Like, how, why? Because... I got a notebook. Well, it was a day that I got my acceptance letter. No, I'm just actually curious. Like, so curious.
I worked really hard to get into USC.
Yes.
The day that I got into USC, I remember I closed the application. Obviously, I jumped and whatever. And then I got home and I went to my bedroom and I had just recently bought a notebook. It was like a drawing notebook from Michael's.
Okay, love that place.
So yeah, I had this like empty notebook and I sat down in my bedroom on my desk and I opened it up and I was like, all right, like I'm going to come up with a business idea now. Because my idea always was in my head, I'm like, well, I don't want to work. Like I really don't want to work at all.
Like a 9 to 5.
Like a 9 to 5. I don't want to like have a job. I just really don't want to have a job. And I've never had a job, which also, my privilege like is part of that. Like I've been able to focus on like what I build and also school at the same time. But yeah, so I was like, okay, well, now is the time. I have to build a business so that I can be fully like self-sufficient before I graduate. And I was just writing down things that I'm attracted to, things that compel me, like random words, like literally like rebirth was on there. Like I just like random words. Yeah. And then it just kind of came.
Okay. And I recently, I like that I saw your TikTok and I mentioned this yesterday at dinner actually, but how you wrote out the, correct me if I'm wrong, the Egyptian...
The way
pronunciation, no.
Yeah.
What dream means or what sleep means?
Dream to dream, what that translates to in ancient Egypt.
Yes.
Their symbology, and it was, I don't know how to say it. It's like RSWT. Sorry, it's embarrassing not knowing how to pronounce it. But I
wouldn't know how to pronounce that. Go ahead.
Their symbology for dreaming is to come awake. And it's basically like a bed with an open eye. And so the way that in ancient Egypt, the way that they looked at dreaming was that is when we come awake.
Right.
Which is really fascinating because we don't at all perceive sleep or dreams or any, we don't look at it like that at all.
We kind of separate it as a society. It's like, okay, well, this is when you're dreaming, and it's like when you're asleep, and a lot of the things that when you're asleep, it doesn't necessarily matter. And it was just a dream, whatever. I just had a nightmare, whatever. But it's not whatever. It's part of your subconscious and conscious mind.
Yeah, like I think that the collective right now hasn't taken the step to form that thought of what even are dreams. Right. I think that most of us just, it's just not relevant in our heads. And for me, the only reason why I started questioning it was because I made the sleep product, and then it's just the ripple effect of my product led me. Well, first of all, I learned that our product evokes very, very vivid and lucid dreams in a lot of people. And I also happened to start working with a lot of creators in the spiritual community. And so when they got a hold of my product, they started using it for purposes that I wasn't even aware of. I was like, oh, well, this is just to help you fall asleep. But then I learned that there is an entire world within sleep and so much that you can do within sleep. Yeah. There's a lot of work that people do in sleep. And to answer like your question regarding what are dreams, subconscious, conscious, we can interpret dreams as a projection of our subconscious. And our subconscious accounts for 95% of all the actions that we do throughout the day. Like all of our behaviors, 95% of it is driven to is connected to the subconscious. So we're really not like that conscious. Like our conscious mind isn't really driving that much.
Right.
We're always thinking and everything, and the thoughts are always going, but the subconscious doesn't really rely on that directly. The subconscious is just our, beliefs and everything that's kind of like
that's made who we are.
Inscribed deep inside. Yeah. So our dreams are this opportunity for us to literally watch our subconscious like a film.
That's well said.
It's literally like a little film episode of what is going on in my subconscious today.
Yeah. And I think we've talked about this, and we also have a group chat for everyone listening. And I feel like we're always announcing when we have dreams and like what we're dreaming of, what it means. And I think also recurring dreams and recurring nightmares are a really important thing to note, because it's kind of like when you have even a physical pain in your body, you listen to it. Okay, you've had this pain once or twice. Oh, what's going on? And you start to listen and pay attention. And I feel like, as you said, as a collective, it's the same thing. If you're having the same dream or the same nightmare, it's like we should think, okay, what is my mind trying to tell me? And personally, and I've shared this with you, I've had a recurring nightmare of being on the freeway driving and the brakes won't work in the car. And it's going faster and faster, the car, and no matter how hard I push on the brakes, it doesn't stop. And so I had to question, okay, what does that mean? And something probably to the effect of maybe I'm going too fast in life.
You feel like you don't have complete control of what's going on.
Yeah.
So I had a dream like that, Sid.
Okay.
Talking about dreams.
Yeah.
And it was actually an issue with my car.
Oh my God.
Which is crazy.
Wow.
I had to have like my brakes redone or whatever.
Oh my God.
So they were really, really bad. So it could either mean something like you feel like you're out of control, or
like something is,
or it could actually mean like
something's wrong with your car.
Yeah,
that's
like
true.
physical.
Yes.
It reminds me of that customer that I had. I had this customer who bought Stellace, and then she leaves a review, and it was something along the lines of, I started taking Stellace, tapped into my dream, started listening to the messages, and in the nighttime, her dream was like, wake up and check your like right breast or something. And she asked again, and they were like, yeah, like check your right breast. And she wakes up and feels a lump like around her breast. So she schedules an appointment to go and get a checkup to see what's going on. And it turns out that she has like early stage breast cancer. And that is how she found out that she has breast cancer.
Crazy.
It's through the dreams.
When you told us this, like our minds are blown. Like that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you contributed to that through your product.
And so, I mean, I was going to say like there definitely is just like this language, and I don't think that we have it fully figured out yet. But that's what's really interesting is like, at least now I can try and make it into a conversation topic that now we, to encourage us to think about it.
Yeah. And with products, it's just an education piece, right? And I think we were talking about, it's so hard to keep getting up every day and working on the business. Like what motivates you? Because it is not easy. Business is not easy. It's tough. There's a problem every day. But then I know you mentioned when you get a customer review or a message like that, that's what makes you keep going.
Literally, that is your fuel. Like that is your fuel.
Yeah.
100%. And I know, not to completely change the subject, but I guess to go into more of like the business side of things, which we could talk about the dreams forever.
Seriously. I know. So interesting.
I know you have a lot of experience building Instagram pages and with social media. So like tell us a little bit more about like how growing Instagram pages has really like helped you grow Stellace and previous businesses that you've owned.
Yeah, I feel like, well, that is my life path so far. Is I'm an only child, and so I had a lot of time to like myself, and I would have to occupy myself with random stuff. And originally, if you guys like know Rainbow Loom, I would make these like rubber band bracelets, and I started recording tutorials on YouTube. And I don't know why, but my first one just got like a good amount of views, so I kept going. And eventually I ended up being one of the number one Rainbow Loom YouTubers on the internet at 11 years old.
Wow.
And I was racking in that AdSense. I had a crazy community. They were ride or die for me.
Okay.
And even to the point where the actual inventor, the owners of Rainbow Loom made me an official face on their website and whatnot. So it was a big thing when I was 11. And the thing is, it was a fad, you know what I mean? And I grew out of it. I was like, well, I don't want to keep doing this because I am passion driven, you know? I think I would.
You showed me your page the day that you said, I'm done with this business or whatever. And
I have a goodbye video on there.
Goodbye video.
And anyway, so then I was like, well, what's next? And I was like, well, t-shirts are cool. And I mocked up a t-shirt or two. And so I just used the little base that I had from my Rainbow Loom channel. And what's really crazy, I haven't thought about this in so long. So I started a little clothing brand, right? And what happened was, I think I had 1,000 followers or something like that, maybe even 500 followers. All of a sudden, one day in my DM requests, I get this huge meme page. This is what changed my life. Wow, I'm just realizing through speaking this. So I get this DM from this random meme page that has maybe 3 to 4 million followers. Okay. And actually the meme page, it still exists, 3.141 Tim. He's this cool, he's this, amazing person. Yeah.
Shout out Tim.
Anyway, so he DMs me at the time and is like, hey, can I have a free shirt? I'll do a post for you. It was before ads or anything was a thing. So I was like, of course. So I send the shirt and I gained 2,000 followers. And then I, from there, maybe 3,000. And so I had a little mini thing going on. Well, then obviously I knew, well, if I get shout outs from these people, then I will start growing followers. And so I started buying shout outs from the meme pages. And I would pay $60 for a shout out and I would gain 1,000 or so followers. I would make maybe $500 to $1,000 that day. And then I started buying. I was I became a big buyer for the meme pages and I grew the page to 150, 200K followers.
Wow.
And it was a 6-figure revenue brand. And yes, I was in 7th grade and that was just
And you started with this shirt and it turned into a 6-figure.
Yeah, and then I just started, I found this designer in the UK and I would just tell him random word vomit and he would draw up these Tumblr designs and
it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's also so cool to hear how the space has evolved from meme page shout outs to then influencers now.
Yeah.
How that is completely changed.
So for anyone listening, it's 2014 to 2016.
Yeah.
And it was
used to pay $50 to $100 for a shout out.
Yeah.
Now influencers can be anywhere from $200 to $100,000 for a post, which is
Yeah. And sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I think the reason why the pricing has changed a lot is because I think back then brands that were buying were very sales focused and that was the only thing that they cared about. But now that there's huge brands out there who have started buying on social media like that, well, they don't really, not all of them care about the direct conversions. A lot of them care about awareness. There's also retail awareness.
Totally.
These different metrics that don't completely correlate to sales. And that's why we're able, or other brands are able to pay, shell out so much money for brand deals.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to even how do you define success too with ad spend and with marketing for CPG, anything. It's sometimes I honestly, I know this isn't the best advice, but for me it works, is just to trust your gut. And I always know it's even if it's not a direct conversion, it's aligned with the company.
The ripple, yeah.
And when you're talking about that, I'm thinking about how we did this, and Akasha did it too, with the coconut cult, how we put our product into subscription boxes for the coconut cult customers.
Yeah.
Okay. And when they reached out to me to do this, it was an immediate yes. And it was definitely expensive for us, but I knew even though there wasn't any per se data that said, okay, you're going to, that I could promise, that, oh, well, this is worth the return on investment because you're getting it into your ideal customer's hands. It just felt aligned and it was a gut feeling. But then if you ask somebody who maybe was more of like a data-driven person, they would say, oh, don't do that. Don't pay that money to get your product in the subscription box. That doesn't make any sense. But I think the moral of the story is that it has to make sense to the founder, to you, how you define success. I don't know if you relate or like what made you want to do it, but it feels right.
100%. I feel like that more like for me applies to like collaborations or influencers to send products and events to say yes to, because I mean,
the events.
We get asked to add product to the event bags and goodie bags every single day, and I seriously don't know what to respond sometimes because it is so overwhelming. But I feel like if it feels right, then it's a yes. Right. But if there's a hesitation, then it's a no. But no.
It also makes me think of even starting a brand, and it's like, well, what is the right product for me to make? And if you put all of our products on paper and you show it to like a data analyst, right, that compares, the cost of starting it and these expenses and those expenses. If you look at like all these brands on paper, a data analyst will tell you no to like so many of these.
You wouldn't even start it.
Yeah. And if you ask someone like, well, if I have 25K, where's the best place to put my 25K? That's going to be very different than like probably anything that any of us are doing.
100%.
Maybe on paper, there's a much better places where you can put your money, but that's not the complete vision there. You know, like there is a higher purpose to it of why we do it.
So segueing into that, which I wanted to talk to you about this when we were discussing dreams specifically, but how did you formulate the sleep blend, and how did you find someone to make it for you, manufacture it for you? Sorry.
So can you talk about like proprietary?
Oh my gosh.
Because I know that's like a really hot topic right now on TikTok.
I mean, okay, yeah. First of all, I am anti-proprietary blend. And I know that, again, Mr. Dana Analyst would not like that. Your typical investor is not going to like the idea. If you guys don't know what proprietary blends are, so when you make a product that has a formula with active ingredients, I think it doesn't even have to be active, just generally any type of formula. But I am talking about particularly the supplement industry. So let's say you have like, I don't know, ashwagandha, valerian, and hops flower. Those are 3 herbs. So what you can do is on the label, you can put 300 milligrams of ashwagandha, valerian, and hops flower. But if it's the proprietary blend, you don't have to disclose how much of each ingredient is in there.
Correct.
So you can have like 1 milligram of ashwagandha and still have it on the label because under 300 milligrams because it's proprietary. But so on the Stellace label, I have every single one of my active ingredients broken down by milligram, by dose. And I don't really mind. People tell me, it's always like the older people, they're like, well, you should have this proprietary. What if someone steals it? What if this? What if that? And we talked about this the other day, but I'm like, dude, like go ahead and take it. I really don't care.
Because you're confident in your brand.
You'll never be Stellace.
Yeah.
And even honestly, be bigger than me. I encourage you to be bigger than me. And even if you are bigger than me, then good for you because you're still not Stellace.
Yes, 100%. Also, by the way, it's the same in the food business too. So like even not even supplement, food. And if you, for example, want to create, I'm just giving it for instance, a company's protein blend. Yeah. That is the company's way of making protein up at the top of the ingredient list, even if there's less of it. Because let's just say they're doing the protein blend of hemp protein, pumpkin seed protein, and pea protein. Maybe it's mostly hemp protein, but then the other one's not very much. They still are capturing you by occupying the first line of the label by saying organic custom protein blend within all the different sub proteins. Right. And then you think, oh, there's a lot of protein in here. There's a lot of different sources when actually there's one that's dominating it, as you said, and they're just putting it in the parentheses.
Right. To me, that is consumer manipulation. And I just think it's wrong. Yeah, I believe in like transparency with the consumer, and people should, and we're going to, I think anyone who does have proprietary, they're going to have to start rethinking the way that they label their packages.
But that's where the food space is going, and the CPG and the supplement space. Like the thing right now is transparency on social media with manufacturing, everything. Like everybody wants to know what it is that they're consuming.
Right. With transparency being such a big deal, the concept of like trade secret formula, secret ingredient, I think it's like going to go to the dust, and we're just going to have to like leave that behind and start, people are going to know what is in every product.
Totally. Yeah. So if theoretically somebody wanted to start a supplement product, how would you recommend going about finding someone who's trustworthy to manufacture it?
Yeah. So in terms of manufacturing, just make sure that any person you work with, the facility should be FDA registered and it should be GMP certified. You should make sure that they lab test everything. So I know mine and almost anyone that you talk to, like Anna as well, all of the materials that we use, any raw materials in our supplements, get tested upon arrival in the facility for heavy metal, for contaminants, and for purity. And then our finished product gets tested as well to confirm that everything there is what it is.
I just want to add on too, if the manufacturer is sourcing the ingredients, definitely make sure to ask for COAs of all of them so you can see where they're coming from, and also the testing that's previously been done on those ingredients. Certificate of analysis.
And they will be hesitant about COAs. Like that is a supplement industry right now, is it's very annoying for the whole COA thing, but it is worth it.
I have had so many people reach out to me wanting to make specifically my capsules cheaper. And I say, okay, I'll like take a quote, whatever. Email me a quote. They email me the quote. It's like significantly lower than what we're paying now. And then I say, can I please see the COAs for them? They send me the COAs. Origin for CMOS, China, non-organic, heavy metals. So it really goes to show you, like, a lot of people, that doesn't matter to them. Like, a lot of these, like, TikTok viral products.
Right.
You know?
Oh, my gosh.
Products that people are just making to drop ship or to sell just to...
It's horrible.
It's horrible. It really is. But they're not in the market of quality. They're in the market of selling as much product as possible.
Yeah. And I think a really big thing to note about that is it's like, how do you find someone good to work with? But a large portion of the time, you also have the responsibility of doing that. Yeah. Like if you want something to be high quality, don't rely on just going with whatever a manufacturer says, because at the end of the day, they're going to want to cut costs. They're going to want to get the lowest price for them and for you, obviously, as a customer. But so you need to take on the responsibility of making sure that your end product is actually what you want it to be. And that's part of the research that you're going to have to do when you're creating a product.
And I thank you for saying that, because I think this generation, everyone wants it easy today. Like they just want to find the quickest solution to manufacturing a product. You have to do research. You have to question.
You have to question.
Yeah, you have to look into things like, and everyone listening, the amount of samples of things that I tried, ingredient suppliers that wanted to sell me ingredients before. You can't just let it go into production. You got to sample it, test it to make sure that it works with the formula that you have. But everyone's looking for an easy way out now, and it's not easy. You have to take every step to make sure that the ingredients work together, that et cetera, et cetera.
That's why passion matters.
Yes, that is why passion matters. I did last night and I had a beautiful sleep, and you know what? I actually woke up without an alarm this morning.
That's amazing. That's my favorite thing to do. Yeah. Wake up without the alarm.
And it feels like a win. I don't know why. I'm just like, yes. Not on the weekend.
It doesn't spike your cortisol so much.
It really changes it.
It doesn't startle you as much.
Worse than the alarm sound. Yeah. I've tested so many different sounds too, by the way, and they all suck. And then I try and I change it to a song, and it was like Shakira for a while. And then after that, any Shakira song was associated with me getting up.
That's funny.
Any song is then ruined. Okay. Anyway,
one of my favorite ways to take Stellace is by emptying the capsules and putting it into like 1 to 2 ounces
life hack.
Of tart cherry juice. Just a small amount. Like I don't like drinking like a whole glass of it before bed, but I weirdly love tasting the herbs. I don't know why, but
it's a unique flavor. I feel like it does blend well with the tart cherry.
Yeah.
And life hack, because since they're in capsules, if you like open them and actually drink it, the way you're absorbing it goes into your bloodstream a lot quicker. So the effect is like fantastic. Like it's amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. So going to just pivot to actually what we believe is the future. TikTok shop. What is now? What is the future? But seriously, you live and breathe TikTok shop. Tell us all about it and why you think it is the future of business and why you think, I assume all businesses should be on it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like every business is getting on it, which is really fascinating because in the past, I mean, everyone was so hesitant to adopt TikTok, period. But all of a sudden, TikTok shop comes around, and I feel like within 6 months, every single person, big or small, whether you're a drop shipper, whether you're a huge corporation, or whether you're, you know, in the middle or anywhere in between, it's just like everyone has flocked at this point to TikTok shop, which is really fascinating. And I think a big part of that is like, I mean, just let's like follow the numbers, like where the numbers going. And it is incredible the amount of traffic and demand that is coming from TikTok shop. And I've asked Anna this personally, is like, because, you know, supplements are very hot, as well as, I mean, honestly, everything is hot on TikTok shop, but, you know, I'm in the supplement category, so that's what I focus on. Right. And I'm just like, has there even ever, like in history, has there been this amount of surge of demand for products in the supplement industry? Like, has there ever been this immense amount of traffic and buying power, buying demand going to a supplement ever? Like at this scale? And how easily accessible it is and quick. It's crazy. Too. Yes. And it's like random. It's just out of nowhere.
I feel like are waking up to like they really want to feel good. And they know that they can feel better.
Yeah, why are supplements what do so good on TikTok?
I don't know. It's something like people, I think it has to do with like the influencing. It's like when someone sees you looking good and feeling good, and like if you have really good energy, it's like really easy to sell something.
I think also supplements, like when you buy a supplement, it's easy to buy a supplement when your friend recommends you it. Yeah. Like it's like the buying process for supplements, I think, is very recommendation based. And it's much harder to just like randomly find, you know, something and be like, okay, totally. We rely on people's word a lot. And so maybe that's why they also do so well, because you're hearing someone's experience with this particular supplement. And so that is equivalent to your friend's recommendation. And I think I have to mention, it is important to note too, like you not to just take any supplement because somebody on the internet recommends it, because you have to also know what you're deficient in when it comes to certain things, certain vitamins, doing blood panels, all that. But as Anna and I talked about yesterday, it's like you have to have a good base first. So everyone's looking for that, again, back to the quick and easy way to start a business. Quick and easy way to get healthy supplement. I spoke about this again with my family the other day. This is a lifestyle. Like what we're all trying to do. Create a better lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle, being awake, learning dreams, understanding dreams, having better sleep. Like it's not just about the supplement. It's about other things that you're doing. And I think a lot of what TikTok is doing is saying, oh, well, I can be healthier if I take this one thing, which isn't true. It's a holistic method. And again, it's not to like, you know, hate on products. I'm in the product space. Mm-hmm. But for someone even to say, you know, with French Squirrel that I start eating your dates and now my digestion is magically cured. Mm-hmm. Dates are great for digestion, but you have to manage your stress. You have to sleep. You have to eat and drink water. You know, like just eat fiber, drink water. There's so many other factors. So I don't know where I was going with this, but I was just trying to say that, like, I think it's back to everybody wants an easy way out.
They all want a quick fix. And TikTok shop makes it so easy because it's a one-click.
Right, one-stop shop.
They don't buy it there, they buy it on Amazon, which is also one click.
But we're all trying to educate, though. So it's not, we're actually, all of us are saying things that are not just about the product.
Right.
It's a lifestyle.
Right. And even if we are talking about the product, like,
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are all saying this will fix all of your problems.
Totally.
There are so many ads on TikTok, like, oh, this product will cure your gut.
Everything.
No, it won't.
Yeah.
There literally isn't, not a product that I know that will cure your gut
Mm-hmm.
completely.
Yeah. Yes.
What's really interesting about TikTok Shop, and I think what people don't understand, because some videos I've seen, they're complaining. They're like, oh my God, TikTok feels like QVC now. Exactly, it feels like QVC. QVC was one of the biggest marketing channels of the past generations. And do we really think that our buying behavior has changed at all? Like, do we really think that our desire to consume as a society has gone out the window? No. We still live in a world where consumerism is absolutely a priority in like a lot of people's, the general person's book. And that is what TikTok is doing. They are taking up that gap because QVC exists and everyone liked QVC, but simply no one has translated it into a medium where people can actually still buy stuff in that way today. So that's what they're doing is TikTok Shop. It is QVC.
And it's digestible.
It's digestible.
Digestible content, and you are making content that is it's crazy. The videos you're doing have everything and nothing to do with the product, and that's why it's a winner. And I don't mean nothing in that way. I mean,
I understand what you're saying.
You made a video of you falling asleep at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like accidentally took a sleep
Before going out.
Before going out, and it has everything to do with the product because it is about the product, but by nothing I mean that it's not product forward because our marketing has changed now, and now everyone clicked on Stellace sleep supplement after watching that video. That was hilarious, and it's digestible content because now we want to know, how did you fall asleep? What supplement did you take that you couldn't even keep your eyes open at the restaurant?
That was the number one comment. It got like 1.4 million views. And the number one comment was, what sleep supplement did he take that he fell asleep like that? And they were like, I need it. And it was actually really amazing top of the funnel because what TikTok Shop does is now everyone saw that video. And since they were able to somewhat like interact with the product, now they're going to send them my other videos or any other video that is about Stellace night capsules. So what I saw is that I started getting a lot of sales through my other videos where then I go and I hard talk about the product and the benefits and what it does and call to action and all that. So that video was like a way for me to introduce the idea to them. And then they kind of like went through and bought through other posts.
Yes. And you had the one with the amusement park too, Universal Studios.
Yes, there as well.
It's so interesting.
I'm revealing all of it. Sorry. Go ahead.
You gotta check it out on Stellace on TikTok.
It is a dumpster fire.
But it's interesting how the combination of posts, like some of them are so direct, like so salesy, where the people are holding the product the entire time, just talking about the product.
Yeah.
Or like the example of you with the espresso shot and or it's like not as direct, and how both of them are working so well with TikTok Shop, and a lot of it has to do with like relatability.
Yeah.
How relatable is this person?
Yeah,
the realness.
The ones where they're talking to the camera with
it's
the product
real.
also works. Yes, that's true.
It works well, especially if there's something that the person watching the video can relate to that person on. If they address a certain pain point, or if that person looks similar to them, or anything. And it's so crazy because right now, like, anyone can make a ton of money on TikTok. Anyone can.
There's no barrier.
There's literally zero barrier to entry besides just having 5,000 followers. And even then there's a loophole.
Right, there
where
is.
you can start selling products on there. And it's insane. Like, anyone, you can make a video about any product, it can go viral, and you can start making commission.
And for the 5,000 followers, just to clarify, it's not for the brand, it's for a person who wants to link products.
Yeah, for a person that wants
so brands can just start on TikTok Shop.
Yeah, you don't have to have any amount of followers.
And what would be your biggest piece of advice for any CPG founder wanting to start on TikTok and how to build that brand presence?
Well, to start on anything at all is simply test and prepare for the micro failures. You should expect micro failure, and you have to break through that, because the only way to find your winner is through sifting through the micro failures. That is what testing is. And that is something that even though I've done stuff before, like I got scared when I first started selling Stellace, because I did a paid post and it didn't get any sales. And I was like, damn. And it took me a little bit until it hit me in the head, which sounds really obvious, but when you're in the moment, sometimes it's like you're not there.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, well, if I don't create more opportunities for people to see and be aware of the product, then how in the world do I expect the sales to magically come rolling in? So where you fail somewhere, okay, good. It steers you into a different direction, a closer direction to what is the right direction. And that is how I found it out. I went through maybe like 8 different niches until I found a winning niche. And even when I found my winning niche, I still kept testing. And that's how I found an even bigger winning niche. And so now my product, actually, I don't sell to like one single consumer group. I sell to 2 different types of people who are actually wildly different in characteristics.
Yeah, and it just translates into different styles of videos, or different captions, or different texts, different styles of videos. And if you do a voiceover, if you don't, if you put your face on the camera, if you don't, I mean.
But even like TikTok is really broad. Even in, it's like, are you making the videos? Is someone else making the videos? Is it paid ads? Is it organic? There's a ton of different categories within just TikTok alone that you can test within. And so, yeah, then it's like when you're making your own content, you can go even deeper. Like there's so many different angles for you to try. I would say really, like, if you're prone to getting discouraged on like the first 2, 3, 4 attempts, you have to be ready for micro failure, and it's part of the process.
And Anna, you are really good at this too. Just you keep on posting. There's like some 15 videos a day. It's unbelievable, and it's such an inspiration. Seriously, and you too, Mario. I'm just saying, like the amount of like outputs, you know. And as we said last night, nothing works until something does.
Right.
So you have to expect the flops.
Well, once you see that it can work, you just like keep doing it, because you know it's going to happen eventually. As long as you just keep putting the work in and consistently be putting good content out there, like you do have to think it through. I mean, not overthink it, but think it through. And also, if any brand or someone wanting to be an affiliate wants to learn more about TikTok Shop, Mario and I actually started a community Discord group, which we'll link in the show notes. So anyone can join it for free, and we're just putting out our thoughts and information. Free value for you guys. If you're a brand or a creator and you want to learn about TikTok Shop, we're educating everyone. So it's there.
Everyone can win.
Everyone's invited.
Yes. Everyone can win. Okay.
Well, thank you so much. Seriously, this was very valuable.
Thank you, guys.
And we're so happy to even have you on here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We could record forever, truly. So we'll definitely have to have you come back on the podcast.
Would love to, anytime.
But very grateful. And
everyone check out Stellace on Instagram, TikTok.
Stellace.com.
We'll put everything in the show notes. There's so many exciting things to come with Stellace. Like, I know you've already told me about your newest product innovations, and truly the world is going to be so excited.
Thank you, guys.